tragedy. And it's unfortunate that, you know, we're having to talk about this more and more in schools. But it really says that things weren't so different in Maria Montessori's time, that children in her day and age were exposed to poverty, they were exposed to racism, they were exposed to war, they were exposed to sexism, all kinds of things that we're exposed to and our children are exposed to today. But the difference is that the media provides instant information to our children, and that didn't happen back in her day, and so they were somewhat removed from it. And talking about how, you know, as much as we may try to create safe havens for our children in our schools and talking about being peaceful, there's no way that our children are totally protected from everything that's going on in the world. And the author of this article feels like, you know, it's important for us to talk to children about those things when those things come about. But she also cautions that it's dependent upon the developmental level of the child. Obviously, high schoolers, middle schoolers are more equipped to handle some of those conversations than our primary children or even lower elementary children. And so we really have to be careful when we're talking to children. And she said that, you know, Montessori warned adults that it was very easy for the child to take on the personality of the adult. And she cautioned against that. And she said, you know, adults have a tendency to want to impose themselves in the place of children, but also at the same time sometimes send them subtle messages about beliefs and opinions that they should hold, and that we have to be really careful about what we're saying and about letting our belief systems come across to the children that we come in contact with. And she said it's really important for us to make sure that when we are talking to children about those kinds of things, that our own feelings and our own emotions are in check, and that we have a good understanding of how we feel about things, but that we're not necessarily carrying that forward into the classroom discussions as the adults. And I saw evidence of that back during when the election was going on. You know, some of the children were coming to school, bringing the opinions of their parents to school, bringing the opinions of, you know, some of their classmates or debating those. And then the teachers were also inputting some opinions. And while those might be healthy debates at an older level, it's not necessarily appropriate at the younger level to be imposing our viewpoints and perspectives. It's kind of like I had one teacher say to me after the election was over, well, what should we tell the children about the outcome of the election? I said, well, you tell them the facts, you know, right? You tell them there was an election, this is the democratic process, and some people got what they wanted out of the election, some people did not, and this is, you know, called a democracy. But they were a little mortified by the outcome themselves, so they were, you know, kind of wanting to steer the children in their direction. So this article just really cautions about that, and says, you know, by all means, we have an obligation when children ask us to try to answer their questions, but make sure we're doing it factually and truthfully, and giving them just the amount of information they really need, not going on beyond that. And with young children, that it's best to be talking about those critical incidences in the home where they feel most secure with their parents. So if you wanted some information as a parent about some articles about how to talk to children, they're here. I'm happy to send this to anybody who might want it. These might be some good things to put in Thursday news throughout the course of the year if people want that type of information. But I thought that was very timely.